So today we're going to be doing a much needed upgrade on the Deuce and a half, the M35 A2's wiper system. We already did the passenger side. We're going to do the driver's side. Someone sort of did one before. We'll talk about that a little bit as we're doing the installation, but let's talk about the stock setup. This right here happens to be a stock wiper and wiper arm. Let's pull the wiper off first off. Not much to the wiper, and there's no spring fascia or anything behind that. It is a flat glass, but they really don't work that well. And you can also you can go a little longer than what the stock is. One thing I will tell you as far as upgrading your wiper system, you may just need arms and wipers. Your air motors, they might need some cleaning, or you might need to replace the actual air motors, but going to electric might not be the ticket. That's not, a lot of times that's not the problem. And with that also what happens is people go with an electric wiper upgrade that is not an upgrade in reality, because it's done in such a fashion it's kind of like universal dual exhaust. It's not quite right. You know, it's only one bolt that holds it in place, each motor in place, and it just some factors. And there are a good upgrade, and I believe that, and I don't know this from first-hand experience, but I believe the actual upgrade that is like the A3 setup, which the military themselves did, is a better choice than that. But as I said, the stock air motors and setup will work just fine if everything is up to snuff in it. You may need to clean and do reseals, or you may need to replace the air motors, but they will work really good. But as far as the wiper arms and the wiper blades, that's a whole different story. As I said, there's that. And then you just slip your wiper arm in there, and she's kind of flip-floppy and all that stuff. They flop around a bit, for one thing. So what we have from Anco is a 41-01 wiper arm that we're going to be using. I've already put one on there. They come with the kind of necessary adapters you need to adapt it to your Deuce and a half. So there's a little hardware kit in here, in this bag. And then, of course, there's a wiper arm itself. This wiper arm is adjustable. Just open this up, and you can adjust this wiper arm from 8 inches all the way up to 11.5 inches. Okay. And this is kind of screwed on sort of the same way that the stock. See, my wiper blade's getting in my way. The stock has that screw in there. It's a little bit different, but basically you can adjust the last part of your arm for various positions. And like I said, you can shorten or lengthen this depending on your preference and how you set it up. But what you will notice on this is that this right here does not have a hole in it. Okay? And the stock's both on. Okay? So, don't go drilling a hole in this. You don't need to. And you shouldn't. The one that's on the driver's side in the truck has a hole in it. Whether it was drilled in it or that was the kit at the time, I'm not completely sure of, but I suspect they drilled a hole in it, and we'll talk more about why that didn't quite work the way it should on that particular setup. But what's in here, you can set up so you can use this wiper on that stock. And what it does is, let's get a closer look at this, and I may get obnoxiously close to the camera, but there is a little tang right there And once you go past it, it locks in place, kind of like what a lot of conventional wiper arms do today. Some still bolt on and stuff like that, and such, but these kind of clip on. What I don't like is these aren't that easy to take off from what I've seen, as far as that. But if they're put on there correctly, they are not going to come off on you. You know, that's not a concern about them coming off by accident or something like that. If they're secured there, just put on properly, they're not flimsy as far as that's concerned. All right. So here we go. Stock wiper and the 4101. Now, what I opted to do, and we'll show you the blade later, that I'm using, is I'm using a 3113 Anko blade, and that's a summer blade. And I do want to get some winter blades. I'm not sure what the winter number is, and I do want to get some winter blades. So if anybody knows what that is, feel free to pop that in the comment section. And I would recommend the winter blades, even for summer up here, up north. And here's why. Because then I do that with my regular vehicles. I've always put the winter blade on them because the winter blade will work in the summer. But the summer blade doesn't really work in the winter. Yes, it does, but no, it doesn't, because ice gets in there and the suspension can get kind of jammed up and that kind of thing. And generally speaking, I replace my wiper blades once a year. So anyways, enough about that. Again, it's a 4101, and the wiper blades themselves, which we'll show you more on that later, is a 3113. Gives you kind of a more modern wiper. Okay, since I've done this before and already know what length I need this, as I said, this is adjustable, what length I need this for the M35, what I found that works best for me. We're going to adjust the length right here and now. Simply in the back side, a little tab right here, pull that out, extend it all the way out. I found that's the best position for me, and then I just lock in a position. Now, there's a screw up here for adjusting this. I want it straight on. It happened to come with it just curved, just turned slightly. So I'm just going to take this and loosen it up. Okay, then we'll get it straight. And it has a little teeth in there. Get it straight, hold it in place, and I'll tighten it up. I may have to, no, I can get away with it with the screwdriver. It's being a little bit difficult because the blade I'm using is actually kind of big for the slot. It could stand to be a little smaller. Get that straight and extend it out. So that's, you want to do that just because I know from experience of putting them on that that's the position that works best for them, and we'll do that part of it. So you may want to position them differently, but you'll see why I position it that way when I put it on. You notice this one's already been redone and there's no nut on the end of it. This one has a nut on the end of it. I think I told you earlier that someone had done it and they either drilled a hole or that was a setup they had at the time. One of the problems with it, you probably can't see it from the video, is that, I'll grab the camera and bring it up here for a second and set that, is that you'll see that there's actually, it's been dug into the windshield frame, some because they did it that way. And that's one of the other reasons we'll change it and we'll put a different setup in here later. So simply you just will undo that to place the new one on there. Okay, and I'm going to turn you a little bit more towards that side. You don't need to look at the other one. so you can see that. And you just take your appropriate socket with your ratchet and you're going to take it off like so. Loosen it up and take it off. Just get this old one off. Okay, there you go. There, that's off. I am going to be reusing this wiper blade and all that. And we'll get to that in a minute. But I'll show you a close-up why I have it right here of how we came to the setup that I talked about with the at its longest point. And then if you notice, it's at its longest point, but the arm is flipped around the other way, which anyways, we'll have to fix that because I forgot that it's 90 degrees to what I showed you before. It's actually Frenched back the other way so that these wipers actually sit like this in here. Okay, so let's take this and I'll set that up there. Let's put this on here, and then we're going to put our nut on there and tighten her up. Some Loctite, maybe some blue or something wouldn't be a bad idea. Tighten this down. Okay, on there and tighten down. Like I said, some we're not going to put any on, but it's not a bad idea. Okay. So now let's reverse this. Blade, like I said, get it loose, spin it around, just flip back like that, see how it is now, and then there you go. So that's done. Alright, now we're going to take the old the one off the other one. As I said, we already I could have even just took the whole thing, the whole bottom half off, but I'll just take this one and loosen it up. As I said, this had been converted before. This one, the driver's side, but it wasn't quite right, so I'm just going to flip that back like that so I can get better access to the clip. And then just take my clip, pop that button there, push it off, just like so. Alright, now take the new one, take this one, okay. And really quickly, you gotta take and pry up on that little piece there, and I may have to go get another screwdriver that's smaller to get in that spot better. But I'll try to do it just a setup like this. Let's see if we can get you in there and you can see it. And just as it there, and I just pried up on it and took it out. And there we go. So now I'm going to take this one I realize some of it's off camera, but I'm trying to show you the poignant stuff on camera. Just gotta slide it in. It has that little, which you'll see it when you actually have a kit and do it, there's a little round nub in there, and it goes in there, and you'll see what I mean. So now it's like that, and now you're just going to take your wiper and you're going to put it on. There it is. There, snapped it in. Okay, I got it snapped in that time, sorry. Okay, then just snap it in like that. Okay. I'd do it again, but whatever. So, as I showed you before, there's a little tab in there. A lot of these newer conventional ones are a little different than that, and you have access to undo the tab, like that side slide if you've ever seen them, stuff like that. So as far as taking them off, I think it's a bit of a pain. But as far as putting them on, not so much. And I'm kind of going with the orientation that it was in before. And I'm just going to bend this back. There is a spring tension to it. Kind of feed it on there like that. And bring it in. And then what you have to make sure you do is you're going to need to push that back until that clip goes over the back side of that thing. So you can't just set it on there. You have to go until the tang is over that tab, and it is, so it's not, I'm pulling out on it, so it's not coming off. And you just set it